Chad's an interesting guy because of all these characters that we've covered on like Dabbleverse Live and stuff. There's part of me that like wants to root for Chad, and I think he's more aware of himself than some of these other guys are. And the bar is low. This is not necessarily a major compliment I'm giving him, but like just compared to people like Stuttering John, I put Chad in a different class. I think he's more self-aware, has more ability to go along with the joke to a degree. And I do think some of this is showmanship. Like, I think he wants to be talked about. I've never understand the idea of like, oh, I'll make a fool of myself and then people will talk about me and that'll be good for business. I don't really get that. I don't know why you'd want to be seen in that light. But maybe that's part of what Chad is doing. But he came on and went at Cardiff Electric on Thursday Night Hackdown. Go subscribe to Cardiff Electric at Cardiff Elect on YouTube. And he's on there with my buddy Tukey. And then Chad pops in because they're talking about this GoFundMe that Chad has. We talked about it on Dabbleverse Live the other day. Chad is raising money for a comedy special, $8,300. And people suspect that maybe it's being used as a fraud or to pay bills or he's never going to do it and he's just going to keep the money. There's all kinds of speculation about why Chad has this GoFundMe, why he chose that number. And then you get into him faking donations and accusations of that. So he pops in to confront Cardiff on this very matter.
All you're doing is grifting right now.
It's not grifting, Chad. I'm going to explain grifting to you. I'm going to explain grifting to you right now.
You're grifting.
If your
grifting.
If your GoFundMe raises $8,300 and you shoot a special and you give the people a special, what's the plan? You're going to just put it on YouTube and make ad money from it? Is that the financial goal for the special?
I'm hoping it does something. I'm hoping it makes something happen with ticket sales. I'm hoping. Okay. That's all I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm
fair.
throwing a Hail Mary. I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying. Who else is trying?
I will say credit to Chad for that. For whatever, if he's trying to make a special, I give him credit for that. There is something to be said for, people just turn on the ATM that is Super Chat and just, give you whatever. Now, is that Chad's real intention? I don't know the answer to that. But if he does make a special with that money, that's something I would support. I would want to give. Now, I guess with Chad, the question is like, is he actually going to follow through with it? But like, if he does want to make a special, it seems like he's aware that there are going to be people that mock it. Hopefully he doesn't strike them when they do that. But like it seems like he knows the risks and pitfalls of making a special and is willing to go through with that. So I do give him credit for that if it's real and legitimate and if he actually plans on doing it.
Yeah, and he's not asking for like that $8,000 seems like what it would cost to make a special. It seems not a Joe Matarese kind of special, but a special, It
seems a little too low, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. We might need to give you a little more. We need lights in this thing. We need to mic the audience, Yeah. Actually, there's some costs in this shit.
Ray,
what does Pat Dixon have to do with you? We're not talking about Pat Dixon.
Comedy anymore. They're not doing comedy anymore.
So who cares?
No one's trying. I'm working at it, and you're trying to shoot down, and you're trying to put down a guy.
Yeah, and the exact. And
you are Cardiff. You're grifting,
and you're doing the exact same thing I'm doing every time you say what.
This is a thing that it gets thrown out a lot, and I notice particularly people in the Dabbleverse get caught in this loop where they all accuse each other of grifting.
Right.
You're grifting like anyone that gets super chats or has their videos monetized. Like you're grifting. People get into podcasting for a variety of reasons. Either it's a hobby or you see it as a job or a way to promote yourself or whatever. And if those videos are successful, you monetize them on YouTube. And if people want to donate through Super Chat or Patreon or whatever other means, they can do that as a way of supporting the show. It's a business model. And when shows reach a certain level of success, that's what they do. Or even when they have no success, they can do it with a small group of people. This is all right. What I do is a pretty small group of people. Started as even much smaller. And a lot of those people didn't even really give a shit about the show. They saw me on Kirk's show and wanted to support. They said, hey, Mike, here's $5 a month. We like you. Hopefully you'll do something good with it. And I like to think I followed through with that, hopefully. And if you didn't want to donate to that. You didn't have to. There's something where because there's money involved, I hear people in the Dabbleverse throw out the accusation of grifting. A grift is a con. It's a scam, a scheme.
I actually have the definition here. It's the act of swindling, defrauding, or obtaining money through deception. Specifically, deception is the thing that makes it a grift. Otherwise, you're providing a service or a product, and that might suck, but you're still providing something. It's not.
So if Cardiff said, "Hey, super chat me, and we're gonna have this crazy expensive segment on next week, and we're raising money to do something, and you guys pay for it, and it'll come to fruition next week," and then next week when he does something, you can see that didn't cost any money. He was just lying to you. Like, that's a scam. Cardiff has super tip on or whatever, and you can give if you want. If you don't, you don't have to. There's nothing sinister to it, nothing devious. There's no obligation for anyone to do any of that stuff. People will super chat here. I don't really promote it. I appreciate those who do it. And like I say, if we got a ton of super chats every week, I probably would stop reading them because I think it gets in the way of the show. So it's not like I said, it's not a sinister thing that people are doing in bad faith. Give if you want. Don't if you don't. Even Aaron, who is begging and embarrassing himself when he does it, he's not grifting.
No.
He's like, give me money. He's like, just give me money. Just keep donating money. And even that's not a grift. It's not a con. It's not something false. I guess, Aaron, you could almost make the accusation because Aaron will say, like, we need to keep the lights on here, which I don't really know what that means. It's his house. He needs to keep the lights on. We don't need to. But
I find like that 90% of the grifting complaints come from other creators. Like I don't really see grifting as something that an audience cares so much about. It's other creators that mention that because when it's a way
I see it in the comments a little more. Like when we talk about some of these guys, I do see, and maybe you're right in the sense that they just hear other people say it.
I think that's what happens. Like it becomes a narrative that this person's a grifter because, hey, it's a way to limit creativity. This is just crabs in a barrel pulling each other down, right? That's what this
Kevin
is.
Brennan thing where he's like, this guy is grifting. We played a clip where he's like, they're grifting off of you, Chad, which I don't even really understand what that means. So by talking about Chad, like right now I'm grifting because I'm talking about Chad and Cardiff. Guys, you don't have to pay me for this. Don't send me any money. Don't subscribe for this. It's a one-off. We're talking about Chad versus Cardiff. You're not going to get that content every week. Don't pay me in anticipation of it. Don't worry.
Super chats.
Hamilton Burger for Canadian $2. The supermarket keeps grifting with groceries.
Exactly. Yes. There is. You're putting out a product and people can pay for it if they want. I don't understand this idea that like Cardiff is grifting. It's a word that gets thrown out way too much. I don't understand. I don't even know if Chad believes it. Because like Chad, to my knowledge, Chad's show is making fun of guys like Carl and Melton and Ray DeVito and people like this. It's the same format. I don't know what the grift would even be, really.
Yeah, I mean, just be creative. Don't listen to anyone that says you shouldn't do this because why you want to have success and you want people to pay you. It makes no sense. Just let the crab fucking alone in the bucket.
What's Pat Dixon doing? Why isn't he doing comedy? Why when you the way you judge him, the way you observe Pat Dixon,
it's over. It's a wrap.
And you're over in a rap. That's what we're trying to explain to you. Get a job at Subway, you retard.
I don't know.
No, I've got an in, Cardiff. I've got an in. He's gonna have to learn Indian, but.
The Dabbleverse is the only place in the world where, you got to get.
I just imagine now Chad at the counter. What the fuck is this guy doing out here? Was he dancing in front of our store?
If Chad has any interest in Hindu, then I think we've got something.
A day job. I worked hard not to have a boss.
The entire world is the place where you got to get a day job, Chad.
No,
you're not a successful comedian.
Just the Dabbleverse, you dick.
No, more than just the Dabbleverse.
That was a tough one. I don't know what he meant there. So listen, the Dabbleverse is the only place where they're like, why don't you get a job?
That's rough.
I think if I can translate for Chad, I think what he means, so in the interest of fairness here, I think what he was saying is like, what business of it is yours how I make my money? Which I get that. Like if Chad's
That's
able
fair.
to live, what business is it of Cardiff's if Chad gets a job? Like who gives a shit how he earns his income? But you can't do that and then come on and call Cardiff a grifter and say you're making ill-gotten gains. Like it's tough to be both guys, which I think happens a lot where they want to be, a renegade who's making accusations of people and calling people out for their bullshit, but then also kind of want sympathy in other aspects.
It is the most frustrating thing about Chad Zumock to me because I've never had a problem with Chad. I find it is it entertaining, but he that Adam guy on WATP nailed it one time. He said, "Chad, you are amazing at like seeing the foibles in other people, but when you turn that fucking camera on yourself, dude, you just John Cena out of the picture.
Yeah,
you just disappear." And
I think that element of him is what gives me some level of empathy for him, or whatever it is that I see. We're on Devil vs. Live when I'll talk about it, and I'm like, he's not as, because there is an aspect of like, people already have their minds made up on Chad, so sometimes there will be clips played, and like Carl or whoever's on will be like, he's a fucking idiot, and I'm like, I see his point here, but because they already have their opinion made up, they kind of know who he is, so they think he's coming from a negative place. Which I don't know that that's always the case with Chad, and that's a great point by Adam, where like he can point out all this stuff in other people, and that's what kind of confuses me about him. Like John, to use Stuttering John as the example, and I use that all the time because he is the best example. His criticisms of Lady K and the Shitwayer and Cardiff, they're so off base.
yes,
That you're like, oh well, he's just an idiot. Like he's just a buffoon. That's not always true of Chad. Chad will make accusations at other people that are sometimes on point. Like, I think he's way off base with calling Cardiff a grifter. I don't even think it makes sense. But like there are times where I'm like, okay, I get where he's going here. And you never have those moments with John or Opie. Like you almost never see their point. Whereas Chad is different in that way. Okay, yeah, let's hear the fans are at risk. This man is evil, this Cardiff. Watch out.
You're being a piece
That's
of
what
shit, and you're trying to ruin it.
I'm not trying to ruin it. You don't know how many times I have to explain to you. How many times I have to explain to you? I want your special to be exactly what you and Dan Baxton want it to be.
Why did I go on Rocco's show and then I got canceled in Colorado? You guys orchestrated that. You did.
We orchestrated.
You're
yes.
insane.
Your fans did it.
You're
Your fans
nuts.
did it.
I wanted
They're
that.
your fans.
I wanted that
They're
more
your
than
fans.
anything.
Chad, I was going to fly in for that.
And that guy
I was going to sleep on Rocco's couch.
That guy at Looney's hates me now because I can never do that show
So
again.
for anyone that
Like,
doesn't, if you're not fully versed on this, Chad was supposed to film a special in Colorado. I don't know if it was at the Denver Comedy Works or where it was in Colorado, months ago, and that got canceled because there was a video going around for Chad got drunk and called Gino the N-word over and over again.
yeah, it's fun, a bunch of times.
And that clip was going around on Twitter, and I guess that got back to the club, and they canceled Chad's gig. We could go in circles arguing about that all day, but the accusation that Chad is making here is that this was Cardiff and Tukey's fans. There's a couple things flawed with this. First of all, I just from the little I know Cardiff and Tukey, I don't imagine they would do that. I cannot picture them rallying their fans to go and cancel Chad's gig for a couple of reasons. A, it would just be bad for them. They want Chad to film a special. So that doesn't make any sense. I also don't get the sense that, like Tukey in particular, I don't get the sense he hates Chad and wants some level of revenge on him. So then I guess what you get to is like, oh, well, they talked about that clip, so that inspired their fans to call the comedy club and, oh, it wasn't Denver Comedy Works. He said it there. It's Looney's or whatever. To call Looney's and get his gig canceled. Well, it's probably fair to assume whoever did that has watched Cardiff and Tukey shows. Like, I guess that's not an unfair assumption. It's probably a Dabbleverse person, right? But there's shitheads that watch every show. From Joe Rogan on down, there's shitheads that take things too far and don't know what the line is and don't understand any of that. You can't hold the host of the show responsible. Like I said, unless they're going like, hey, I wouldn't call the venue, but if you do, that's up to you. Like if they're doing shit like that, okay, then they're kind of
Here's the number, but don't call.
yeah, like then they're rallying the troops. I just don't imagine Cardiff and Tukey were doing that at all. In fact, I think they would want the opposite.
I'm putting my money on that it was Tukey, that it was Rocco that did this, that made the call, that canceled
think
the whole. Yeah, because he heard that Cardiff was going to come sleep on his couch. He's like, I value my furniture too much. That fat ass to break my couch.
That's fair. I don't want Cardiff in my home. I've got
That's
to.
right. It's too close to happening. We got to take out Chad's legs right now.
That's fair. That makes more. I hadn't thought of that angle, but no, like I just don't think these guys would do that. So this is where Chad loses you. Is like when it comes to him, he's very bad. That's a great point Adam Bush made. I'll keep coming back to that. When it comes to him, he throws out any logic and is just like he'll attack no matter at any cost. Yeah, and we'll see the Cumia clips in a minute where like he respects Cumia and knows what Cumia has done as a broadcaster, but when he argues with Cumia, he'll just resort to like you're a loser who's never done anything, and it's like, well, you know you're being disingenuous here, Chad.
The distance from insight to lack of insight is larger on Chad than anyone I think I've seen in like podcasting.
How do you mean?
So you could have an insight, like a great thought, something that I'd never thought about, talking about someone else, but then that same thing's happening to him 5 seconds later, and he will not see it. He won't understand that that's the same thing that's going on. And so,
you're saying he's capable of one and not the other.
He's capable of both. His spectrum is large, is what I'm saying. Like he can go to one side and the other.
Yes. Whereas John, or Obi, but like he'll say like I'm trying to think. I wish I could remember something specific, but like he'll go after Lady K for something that it's just not true. Right. He's like Lady K's a terrible broadcaster and nobody likes him. It's like, well, that's just objectively, whatever you think of him, like he does a successful show. That's just untrue. Whereas Chad will, like when he goes to people, point to things that have more merit, I think. And it's why people kind of want to root for him in some way. And then he just does shit like this where you're like, God damn it, man. You can only make so many excuses for a guy.
He really is Lucy with the football. He really, like, you will just give up on him, and then he'll put it down and spin it towards you, laces out, and you're like, all right, one more try, Chad. I'll try one more time.
The other weird thing that I'm hung up on with Chad, and maybe I'm way off base on this. People can enlighten me. I also think Chad pipes up with this stuff. Like the first time I think maybe the last time we talked about Chad on this show, might be that whole Cumia country thing. The infamous. And that was at a time where like John went away and people felt like, the Dabbleverse is boring now or whatever, like maybe there wasn't a lot going on that week. I think there's an element of Chad where it's like, well, I'll get people talking about me. And it's a good instinct to have in showbiz,
He's a carnival barker. He understands the nature of an empty vacuum. And
but I think the approach, the angles he chooses are so misguided because it's something you see right through, like that Cumia country stuff where everyone was like, this just isn't, it's not a believable thing. And he's like, but you're talking about it. I guess. Is that the goal always? Is that the end all be all? Or with this, like he's just off base. It's an interesting subject. Like, we're talking about it right now. I find it interesting, but I just think he's so far off base, and I don't know why he would want to be the subject of a conversation on that end.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Cardiff Electric, $2.79 Canadian. Quit grifting off me.
I will not.
Sorry, Cardiff.
Thank you for being part of you're one of the rubes that I'm fooling into giving me money.
You guys fucked me because I went on your
What,
show.
Chad? You fucked yourself, Chad. You fuck yourself every time, and then you blame people.
Your fans hate
That's
me.
the point.
Because you're affiliated with Patrick Melton, and that's
affiliated
why.
with Patrick Melton.
You are.
I'm affiliated.
You guys suck up to whoever gets the.
Guys, speaking of which, I tried to get Mike to try super tips today, and he vetoed it immediately. So
Nothing against Patrick Melton. I just don't. I'm not looking to encourage more. So I just talked about super chats a minute ago. I'm not looking for more.
Most viewers,
I tried
the most money. I know how it works, man.
Can I say I've honestly never sucked up to Patrick Melton in my life?
You did. You ran
No
out of
comment.
mania.
No comment.
I did go to Hackamania. Yeah,
But-
I was
but could you
invited as a
imagine if I did
performer.
that special? Like if
And I
Rocco
sold
hung
tickets.
out, we did a special. You know how much content would have came out of that? You guys don't have that foresight. You guys think you can just ruin my life. That's
my friend. It's that's another strange angle where it's like, oh, you're sucking up to this person. And I hate to invoke the name, but the late great DJ Electra said this the other day. Or maybe it was Ava. It was Ava Riza in that clip we played. Ava's like, that trucker.
The other set of tits.
Yes, the other sweet pair of breasts. Where Ava Riza said, Trucker Andy's loyalty to Carl is really weird. And it really hit me because Carl paused and goes, Andy and I have been friends since high school.
Yes.
Like, why is his loyalty to me weird? Why is that strange to you? But people view it as like, oh, you're friends with this person. That means you're sucking up or trying to get something out of them. It's like Chad is loyal to, and I know him and Kevin have had they've been at odds with each other in the past as well. But like, I think Chad would say he's loyal to Kevin because Kevin gave him an opportunity and pays him and has him on and promotes him and all that. I don't look at that as negative. Again, to keep using that phrase, none of this is sinister. You can do people's shows and promote yourself and have a good time and do events with them and be part of selling tickets and get people to go there. This is not sucking up. That's just how podcasting works. It's how that community has always worked, where people will do shows like Marin and Rogan and Adam Carolla and be guests on these shows to promote themselves. And then eventually they build a brand because then people are like, let me check them out. And they go over to those shows. And then those shows promote people smaller than them. It's how that podcasting ecosystem has always worked. And it's strange. It just seems like it's this pocket of the internet that is like, oh my God, you're doing these evil things that every other podcast has done that no one seems to have a problem with. And it's like, oh, you're grifting off Patrick Melton. It's like, well, is Patrick mad at him? Like that's what I don't understand. Like, who are we mad for? Who are we feeling empathy toward? Are we mad on behalf of Melton or Carl or what is this?
I mean, albeit for me to say, because who am I in these communities? But like, it does seem criticism for criticism's sake has taken hold, and so the old model, the Howard Stern model, would be criticize what is criticizable. And then sort of have fun with everything else. That second part seems to be gone, right? The criticize the criticizable seems now to blanket everything. Everything you do is criticizable because, if you have friends, you have meaningful relations, that's a joke. I mean, when they start making things like that criticizable, you're in some sort of alt world where, left is right and right is left, and then you just got to get your bearings back in the real world to understand that.
I mean, I saw it with you guys where they were like, oh, they're leeching off Mike. I'm like, they're not getting anything out of this relationship. For a while, I would ask him where I could send him money, and he would stop responding to me.
Yeah, no, leave me alone. I don't want to work with you if you're going to pay me.
He's a terrible leech, this guy.
The worst. I'm not a monster, Mike, just like this next clip.
Okay.
Hold on. If you complete the special, not a grift. If you do not put out a special, then that GoFundMe is indeed a grift because you did
100%.
not give the people what they paid for, what they thought they were buying
1,000%.
into.
Ill-gotten gains. Now, that is the definition of grift.
Cardiff has his head wrapped around this. That is correct.
Yep. Those Canadians, they got a good education system, man.
It seems, yeah.
1,000,000%. Yes, of course.
Don't you think we want this
Thank you.
special to be made? You don't really
No,
think what?
I think you guys tried to cancel me.
Poor Tuki's weak voice is trying to pipe up.
Guys, we want it. We want the special, guys.
Oh
We
my
do.
God. You're even the same person who says the same thing about John. We don't want you to cancel the show. We
You are
want the
so
show
stupid.
to happen so we can goof on it. We want your thing to get made. I wanted you to come here and do a special in
believe
Colorado
you.
Springs.
Rocco, I believe
I'm
you 'cause I
telling
have-
you, Cardiff is not the monster you think he is. He's a normal guy.
I look
he
like
wants
it.
to just goof on you. Yes, he
I-
looks.
I just want to
believe-
laugh at you.
I believe.
That's
I
ultimately
believe
what it comes down to, by the way, because Chad doesn't like. What's another topic that Cardiff? I'm trying to not use Stuttering John, but whatever the topic is that Cardiff talks about. If they're talking about Joey C on there, Chad wouldn't swoop in and go, "Hey, you're grifting off of Joey C. You're trying to make money off of Joey C." What it is at the end of the day, and Chad, I mean if you're hearing this, I mean nothing negative about you. I'm saying I think it's true. I think if you step back and look at it, it at least seems true. If it's not true, it seems that way to outside observers. That at the end of the day, you're just upset that they're making fun of you. And what you'd like to say is, guys, can you just stop making fun of me? I don't think I'm that fucking mockable. Can you stop? Can you stop being mean to me? It makes me feel bad. I think that's what a lot of these guys would say if they could just be honest about it. But then that seems lame and that would get made fun of. So you can't come out and say that because it would just increase the mocking. But like if we were all being honest with each other, I think Chad would just say here, like, God, stop making fun of me, guys. I want to like you. I want us to like each other and we can make fun of other people together. Stop making fun of me.
Yeah, I mean, he started on Carl's show. He wanted to be part of the team. Like, I'm with you guys. Let's make fun of John. And then it just didn't hit him right. Or
Yes, the problem Chad has with Cardiff, of course, is not making fun of people and making money off of that. Cardiff's good at that. Tukey's good at that. Like, that's why people want to watch their shows. It's not just, not anyone can just play clips of Chad and have a lot of people watch the show. Same with any of these characters. Same with Tony Hinchcliffe and Big J and the people we've talked about today. You can't just put them in the title of the show and the thumbnail and have people watch it. You kind of have to be some level of interesting. Maybe it would work once. Maybe people would click on one video and then they would go, this guy kind of sucks. I have no interest in him. So the people that keep returning are interested in your point of view, your input. Maybe they think you're funny or make good points, or they like laughing at you. Maybe they think you suck and they enjoy watching that. Whatever it is, they enjoy watching the show. They're getting some level of enjoyment out of it. It's not a grift. It's not evil. As Tukey said, he's not a monster. And with Chad more than any of these guys, I think he knows that. And that's what makes this type of argument so frustrating, where I wish he would just say that.
I think there's also something else at play here, is that the only attitude that's like this is MLC. It's Kevin Brennan. And Chad sort of sat at his side for years learning how to podcast. And Kevin Brennan's podcast motto is zero-sum game. If there's $100 on the table, that's 100 of my dollars, not one of Rocco's and 99 of mine. That's all mine. And so I think
the money
Chad has a little bit of that.
The money thing for sure, and also the idea that everyone's an enemy. Everyone's an asshole. Everyone's a piece of shit. Kevin just did that too much to the point where it became not believable. Oh, really? You have a problem with this guy, and then you don't, and then you do again?
Yeah. I believe Rocco. I really do. I don't know. Maybe because I met him and he's kind of normal. I don't know. But I think he's a creep. And he gets off on this attention. He loves these people loving him. He loves it.
Well, that's what all of this is attention. Yeah. There is an element of that where you're like, people are enjoying this show. I like that. I'm glad you guys are watching this and getting something out of it. Even the people that don't like it and are checking it out and hate it but stick through an entire segment, I appreciate those people. It is all a level of, maybe people use narcissism too much, but self-absorption. There's something to that where it's nice for people to be like, hey, I like what you're doing. Yeah. That's not a negative thing. You do this for attention. If you hate attention completely and purely, you would not do a podcast. Right. There would be no reason to.
Or you eventually learn to filter, what you consume afterward, right? Because, just stay off Reddit, stay off of the places where they make fun of you, and you can create. It doesn't matter.
But even that, I hate that stuff too. So I hate a level of attention. There's elements of my personal life I don't want people to get into or whatever. There's elements of attention I don't like. Mm-hmm. I don't like negative attention. I don't think anyone does. But you like when people are like, hey, good show today. Even that, I'm uncomfortable with in person. But when you read it in the YouTube comments or whatever, you're like, oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. And that's why everyone does this stuff to a degree. Also, part of it is wanting to entertain people and wanting to get your opinions out there on things. There's a bunch of reasons why you would podcast, but one of them is always kind of liking attention. That doesn't make him bad. It's true of why Chad would get into stand-up and comedy also. Chad is not doing this against every fiber of his being that hates attention. Everyone likes it.
Yeah. Last one here is First Blood.
Oh, man. I didn't realize this, and I don't know all the history. If Cardiff and Tukey drew First Blood, I might have to change my opinion here. I hope that's not the case, but let's find out.
Here's
Chad,
the thing.
Why
want
is it
to
any different?
film
No,
this.
but why is it when I do a show about you, I'm pandering to losers, but when you do a show about Ray DeVito or Steel Toe or Gino or Keanu or whatever, one of Melton, you're
Cardiff,
not pandering.
They came after me. They came after me.
you. Okay,
They came after me. I didn't do anything.
Ski Mask came after you when you called his
Yes.
wife school.
R.I.P. The great ski mask.
Ski Mask came after you.
All right, you can manipulate that.
The Bahamas.
By the way, I never called his high school. That's where you fuck up, and that's where these fucking retards they go offline and they try to get me canceled because they think I talk shit online. That's it. And
Chad,
never
but you
goes
can't
further.
you can't talk shit.
That's what Cardiff does. That's what Tukey does. They talk shit online.
And again, I like Chad. I'm a fan of Chad, but I have never seen Cardiff or Tukey standing outside of someone's house. I just haven't seen it.
No.
Chad, on the other hand, I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, and there's elements of things that just don't interest me. Like Cardiff is like called the comedy club to see how many tickets they've sold or whatever. That part doesn't interest me, but it's not some drastic line cross where it's an invasion of privacy. It's things that they talk about on the show.
Yeah.
It's journalism. God damn it.
And they reminded me of another reason that I am a fan of Chad is his deep and ever-loving hate of Ray DeVito. It's what brought me to this universe, and I will never, ever forget it. So,
But yeah, but to Carter's point, him hating Ray DeVito is no different than them hating him if they even
it's
do.
exactly the same. It's exactly the same. He shits on Ray DeVito constantly, and I love it.
It online saying exactly what they're saying you did. If
But
you
I
talk
never
shit
did
online that you're
that.
calling
I
people's
never
works,
did
you
that.
can't talk shit
I
that you're
never
calling people.
called their work. Cardiff, you're pandering. You're pandering right now. I never called their works. I never called their works. I
Okay.
didn't work.
You cut
You're
out there for a
lying.
second.
You're a liar. You're a liar. I never called any of your works. That's
So okay. Then when you thought that I worked at
Rocco with a killer line there. He's very funny as like the Fred Norris, just feeding like little lines. The Bahamas one got me. That one got me. That might be your new lane.
He's a very funny man.
Brock University, you were more than happy to tell the world that we should be reaching out to Brock University. I have the tweets. I have the tweets that you sent out.
Yeah. If people send me stuff, I just posted. I just said Cardiff works here. You know that. You're lying.
You got a certain potato. You might have called me the potato.
No, put it out. Put it out right now. Put it out right now.
Okay, I'll put it out again another time. I have the tweet somewhere.
No, put it out now because you're lying.
No.
Is he asking him to put out the tweet that doxed him? Why would he do that?
Well, also no, but I think Chad was wrong. I think it was like misguided information or something. But regardless, then we get caught up in these arguments of like, you said this and I said that. No, I didn't say this. Prove it. And then it's something where it's going to derail the entire conversation if you dig through and prove it. So you know that's never going to happen. Like these arguments get so convoluted. If Chad is truly being targeted as like this liar, because I don't know all the, I don't follow Chad as closely as I follow other people or other people follow Chad. So I don't know all the details. But people do send me stuff like, oh, he did, the credit card thing you made a joke about earlier. I'm aware of that. I like this stuff that they're talking about with going after Cardiff's employer. I'm aware of that. Chad is saying that it's all been blown out of proportion to make him look bad. If that's true and you're Chad, I would go out of my way to prove that. Because the volume of people that accuse him of this, every time I defend Chad in one of those Dabbleverse Live segments, and people are like, you're wrong about Chad. He's done this, this, and this. They're not all getting together, and it's not an orchestrated plan against him. They all think that. So I would say the burden is kind of on Chad at this point to prove that people are wrong about him.
There was an organized attempt against him. I believe it was called the Tampa Papers, but I don't think the regular people do that.
I do remember that ill-fated bit, which I didn't think was. I remember like Cardiff getting shit for that. I always said with John, it would be interesting if like everyone stopped talking about him to see what he did. Not now. John's gone, but
yeah, you should do that daily. Just pick your podcast locale and just we're not talking about him today, and just like see how the reaction goes.
For like a month. Well, particularly John, because his entire show was like clapping back at Carl and Shuley. And I said, if Carl and Shuli just stopped talking about him for a month, it would be so interesting to me to see what that show was.
Yeah. Gearheads, you hear that? Let's try that in the comments with me. Just don't talk about it. See how that looks.
I'm not you. I'm not you. I can't be bullied into showing things.
Yeah, don't be like the chatters, Chad. Remember the chatters were trying to bully you into showing proof.
You're pandering to the super chatters. I know exactly what you're doing right now. You're lying. You're lying.
See, this is the Kevin Brennan like influence right here. That's what I feel like. See, this is what Kevin would say.
You know you're lying. You know it.
Another great quote.
Yeah. So he is accused Cardiff of lying. I don't. Maybe Cardiff is, but Chad, I would say prove that somehow. Bring up the tweets that Cardiff is referring to, or whatever. I think at this point the burden is on you to prove that all these people are lying about you. Now it might be difficult to do, but you got to figure out some way if that's true. Otherwise, I would say just like admit that you've fucked up at times and try and change.
Now we got the MLC, Chad versus Anthony.
Okay, yeah. So was this last night? I just saw the clip from Pest this morning. Oh, and by the way, thank you to Doom. Or no, Doom is the next clip we're playing.
Doom's next.
Thank you to Pest for this one, for clipping this. I just saw it this morning. Do you know if this was last night or when this was?
I don't. I was on the toilet when I saw that you sent it this morning. I'm like, oh shit, I got work this morning, and I grabbed it and I didn't look at it.
I tried to keep it light. It's only 2 clips, but because this is where I'm like, oh, is Chad doing this to help us, to fill a content void? He thinks maybe the Dabbleverse is a little lackluster lately, and they need some content. So I figured this wasn't going to make it to Thursday. I figured by the time Dabbleverse Live comes around, Carl will have talked about this. So I wanted to get into it today, where he's going at Anthony Cumia now.
No.
The guy is petrified to have a discussion. So he'll yell. He'll call Gino's wife a whore.
Boss.
He'll call me fucking names. He'll goof on people's looks and stuff because he has nothing of substance. He'll call me a loser now. Watch 20 times without any.
Boss, bring me on. Quit taking me off, boss. I want to talk to you, boss. Boss, I want.
He's a loser.
You gotta let Cumia talk, then you can talk.
You can make examples.
It's smart by Kevin there, actually, because usually he lets this chaos happen sometimes. A lot of these arguments devolve into just people shouting over each other. And it actually becomes, like, that can be interesting for a minute, but it becomes, like, not interesting because you're like, oh, well, actually, I want to hear what he says to that, or I don't want to hear what point he's making. And it just never gets out because it's just guys screaming over each other.
It's amazing that Gino is also in this clip and there is no screaming going on.
I couldn't believe, I don't know if we even hear from Gino in these clips. It's stunning that Gino actually sat back and let people talk. Maybe because, Daddy was making his points for him. But
and bring up examples of how he's a loser without just saying, you're a loser, you're a loser, you're a loser. I can say he's 50 years old. He has a fake make-believe girlfriend, which I haven't had since maybe 8 years old. I invented a fake girlfriend.
She was hot, Anthony.
The smile on Kevin Brennan's face right now is fucking hilarious. He never smiles like this, and he's smiling like a little child.
I was wrong. We had Gino chime in there. Damn it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a job to speak of. At 50 years old, if you're still parading around in your car, going to gigs, and that's your primary source of income, and it's nothing, you're in trouble. You're kind of in trouble. You're alone. You're a guy who's alone at 50.
Can I talk?
You have a shitty apartment.
Can I talk?
And you are the definition
Anthony,
of loser.
You're describing your friend Gino Bisconte right now.
Go ahead.
You're describing Gino Bisconte.
Another
shitty, rent-controlled pit.
Now I'm yelling over them. Yes. I agree with Chad that he is describing Gino is a loser. But this is what happens in these arguments, and what's so frustrating about them is Chad's argument is now Gino's a loser. It's like, okay, well, we're talking about you right now. That's fine. Mm-hmm. That's fine. We'll talk about what a loser Gino is. I do think the difference is Anthony could say Gino's a loser, and Gino would smile and laugh and be it's not that big a deal. That we're not talking about that. Like, and that's what would be frustrating about watching John when he was on with Carl or Cardiff or Adam or any of these people. It's the argument would shift. And I know Chad doesn't love that when people compare him to Stuttering John. I've heard him react negatively to that. Stop acting like Stuttering John then, Chad. Like these things are all like such red flags that John laid the groundwork for. Where it's like, stop following that model if you want people to stop making the same comparisons.
By the way, what happened to stop drinking? Chad?
Gino,
I thought you were off.
You're talking about
booze.
Gino. Cumia. You're a loser. You're on this show right now. You have nothing.
I'm a loser. Why am I a loser?
He didn't. He couldn't. He should have filed away. Anthony said, I'm going to call him a loser a bunch. I can't call him a loser here.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Chad. Don't do it.
He starts his argument. Anthony, you're a loser. Fuck. God damn it, Chad.
Again, goddamn, I keep doing this. But you remember when Michael Scott, Stanley, had his cheating on his wife, and the wife was on the phone, and he's like, "I won't fuck this up," and he picks up the phone and he fucks it up immediately. Hi, Cynthia. God damn it. That's what happened.
I don't know if you guys can tell. Casey's been watching The Office lately.
I've been binging The Office, by the way. It's
I
amazing.
do that when I rewatch a show. That's all my references for that week.
It's gonna be.
I'm like, this is exactly like an episode of Always Sunny.
Where'd you put the turtles? It's just too many of them.
Great house.
2-on-1.
I'm in my great house.
2-on-1. Let's go. 2-on-1.
You don't want to.
All right, that's into that clip. O&A is next.
So he starts bringing up Opie, and it's like, well, now you're getting into like Reddit stuff. Like, what is this argument even? Where Chad now gets into like, oh, Opie made your career. I think Chad knows that's not true. I think Chad knows that Anthony was the talented one on that show. Now, he got a great opportunity from Opie, of course. But like, Chad is aware of what Anthony contributed to that show. It's, again, the thing Stuttering John would say about Anthony, where it's just this lie that Anthony was dragged around by Opie. Nobody thinks that's the case, including Chad. But he resorts to that to kind of win an argument. I think that's what loses a lot of people with some of these guys, is when you'll resort to anything to win an argument, it invalidates any good points you made.
Yeah.
Like, any points you actually make get wiped away when you're like, oh, well, Anthony, you never would have had a career if it was for Opie. It's like, Anthony was hustling and trying to get his name out there and found a guy who would have him on, and he made the most out of it. Just like anyone else is doing. Like, if you say Opie dragged Anthony into success, then wouldn't you have to say that Kevin Brennan dragged Chad into the position he's in? Like, you can make those comparisons all day, and everyone has people they need to be thankful for in their career, and without them, none of it would be the same. Of course, everyone has those examples, including Howard Stern, who's a seemingly self-made guy. If he didn't get certain opportunities and have certain people around him, then he wouldn't be the Howard Stern that we know now. So that's true of everyone, and Chad tries that tactic, which is really doesn't. I don't know if it works.
You got lucky. You got a break from Greg Opie Hughes.
I put everything
you got so lucky.
Into
Pile on, Gino. He needs backup. Flavor Flav. Chuck D needs backup right now. Chuck D needs the backup. Flavor Flav.
Going, oh, Opie did this. Me and Opie, here's the truth of the matter. Me and Opie made the career that we both had. We were bigger together than we were separately.
It's done.
I like that Anthony said that, by the way, because, you know, Anthony's taken shots at Opie over the years, and often deservedly so. But that was like a real moment where he's like, I think maybe he expected, or Chad was expecting Opie to, start over. Chad was expecting Anthony to trash Opie there. And Anthony was very honest, and he's like, without Opie, my career would not be the same, not even close. Same for Opie, without me. Like, we made each other's careers better, and we were bigger together than we ever were apart. And that's a level of honesty. Like, Chad's argument here hinges on you weren't successful without Opie. And Anthony just took that away from him by being like, I was way more successful with Opie than I was without him. And it's like, fuck. Because I think when you're honest about yourself, you stand on higher ground in a lot of these arguments. Whereas Chad is yelling and screaming at Gino in the background and repeating himself. And these arguments get very they're entertaining, but they reach a point where you're not entertained by them because it just becomes repeating and you can't hear who's talking, and there's a lot of distractions going on.
Odds that Opie takes the first part of that clip and forgets the second part. I couldn't be anything without Opie.
Oh, I think the opposite. You don't know Opie well enough. Opie will find the negative in that and be like, he was trashing me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know.
He goes on these shows and he trashes me.
Mm-hmm. Brings my name up and says good things. What a loser.
That's how it works.
You're both pathetic at this point.
That's
Greg
how it works.
Hughes and
Chad, Letterman's done. Letterman's done. Johnny Carson's done. Things end. Like, I'm not taking sides.
Johnny Carson's dead. Let's not blame
things end, Mike.
Career. But now Brent makes a good point. Unfortunately, he repeats it roughly 40 or 50 times throughout the rest of the argument. But he makes a good point there. He's like, yeah, Letterman's done. Letterman's Netflix show isn't as big. Anthony was never as big as Letterman, but Letterman's Netflix show is not as big as his late night show. Like, that's just what happens. You find a thing and there's a level of success. And then when you're in your fucking mid 60s, often you're not as successful as you were 20 years ago. But Anthony does have and people use this as like a shot at him. They're like, oh, your radio show, it's on Sundays overnight. It's like, well, people are paying him to do that. It's also, I think, probably big online and podcast form, which is why that company wants him to do that. But it's not nothing. It's bigger than all of these podcasts in the Dabbleverse. So like, there's something there. He also does a successful internet show with Gavin that he does with Gavin's company. I mean, or Anthony's whatever it is. Compound. What's it called now? Compound
Uncensored. Compound. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whatever that is, like, he's built that into something. Is it as successful as the Opie and Anthony show or Sirius XM? No, but it was never going to be. If it was, that'd be awesome. But like, I don't know that it was ever supposed to be. And then Chad will bring stuff and throw it at him where like early on in Compound Media, Legion of Skanks were on there. Shane Gillis and Tommy Pope had a show. And then Anthony leaned more politics. And I'd be curious to I'd like to have Anthony on this show to talk about that kind of stuff. But Chad throws it at him as an insult, where it's like you had the Legion of Skanks and Shane on, and then you had Gino and Chrissy Mayer. Now, those are some bad decisions if you just compare those two. But I'd be curious to hear Anthony's reason for leaning more into a political angle than an actual, like, just comedy angle. And I'd be curious to hear his thoughts on that. But that doesn't mean it's a failure. Like, Compound Media is as or more successful than anything in the Dabbleverse. Like, it ended up not working and they had to merge with Gavin. But even that is much more successful than any of the shows we're talking about here that do live streams for, a few hundred people or whatever it is. Mine included.
And if we're talking about like talent, like, yes, the later years of Compound, people have, don't look at Gino and see talent. But weren't the early years like a lot of discovery of Legion of Skanks, Shane Gillis, that sort of thing?
Gavin, Dave Landau. I mean, Artie was on there for a little while. It obviously didn't work, but like you got Dave Landau out of that, who has a successful career now. So yeah, there are people that came out of that. Now, I just don't care about the political stuff that Anthony gets into as much. So I always wished he did use that opportunity to bring on more shows that at that time weren't as big, like a lot of the comedians that he was having on, like Legion of Skanks. But he just went a different direction. And like I said, I'd be curious to talk to him about that. But that doesn't inherently make it a failure. He brought Red Bar in. Like, that's where, Red Bar was already had an audience before that, but like that's where a lot of Red Bar's audience came from, was Compound Media.
Right, sir, but to say like you guys are done, Letterman's done. If things move on, they made a lot of money. You can't say they're done.
I did send you that Jay Leno clip this week where Jay Leno was interviewed, and he said podcasts like the Rogan Show are the new late night.
Yeah,
and so that's coming from
that's why late night is dying, because you can just put on a different long form interview show where they actually get into subjects whatever time of day you want. If you happen to be up at 11:30, then you can put it on then, or you can listen to it whenever. You don't have to stay up to have, a canned story from Larry David on Jimmy Kimmel.
Because things are done.
Both of my shows have nothing to do with the
like Cardiff electric chat,
done.
Do you ever see like Joe Rogan or anyone relevant in chat rooms? Like
I'm not riding
you're
the
in
coattails
chat
of O&A.
rooms.
My shows
like
are
a
totally
little
different.
girl.
I will say this, where Chad is right. The most humiliating thing about Anthony's career is that he is watching this show and leaving comments. That is an embarrassment. That goes for all of you. You should all be embarrassed by that. So that's where Chad is right. But other than that, I don't know. I don't quite get the point he's making.
The look on Gino's face, he has his head in his hands. He's chilling. He doesn't need to speak. This is a new Gino I've ever seen.
Gino should be on every podcast. That's nice. Gino's doing great here.
Someone give this guy's gummies every podcast. This is working.
Playing video games.
Let him talk.
Who cares if I want to play video games?
You're
I made
almost
a life
70.
for myself. I do what I enjoy
70
doing.
years old,
How is that-
dude.
Who cares?
65.
Chad,
1961.
who cares?
I'm looking at
You're
it.
50 making up.
By the way, remember when Chad earlier was like, why do you guys care if I have a job? Who gives a shit? And now he turns on Anthony and is like, oh, you play video games all day. You're a loser. And Anthony's like, well, why do you care if I play video games? It's the same argument.
This is that spectrum. This is that goddamn spectrum I'm talking about.
That thing where Chad is criticizing someone. So
Yes.
when other people criticize him for it, he can't wrap his head around it. But then he'll launch that same criticism at someone when the opportunity shows itself.
It's fucking awesome. It's predictable. It's like it's like a science experiment you can predict. It's amazing.
Chad, if you are watching this, when seen back to back, you must pick up on that, right? That you did that with where you're like, why do you care if I have a job? And then with Anthony, you're like, you're a loser. You don't have a job.
The difference is, I guess, Anthony is playing video games and you're not. Get a Nintendo, Chad. That'll solve this whole thing. You'll be all good.
Yeah.
Fake
I'm doing
girlfriends.
great.
What's
I'm
worse?
on the other side of
What's
40. You're
worse?
on the other
Me
side
playing
of
a little
dead.
Call of Duty, or
I'm
you
winning,
making
you're
believe you have a
losing.
girlfriend.
I had a girlfriend. It happened.
It's tough. Chad, listen, I know he's in the heat of the moment. He probably wishes he could take that one back. To yell, I had a girlfriend.
She was real to me.
She was all too real, pal. That's a tough position to be in. So, yeah, I think there's an element of Chad that has a flair for the dramatic and wants to get people talking. So I do think that's part of it. I just don't know why you'd want to why you'd put yourself in that role, you know? Why choose to be the villain in that way?
He's a wrestler that hasn't. Is he a babyface or is he a villain? He hasn't figured it out yet, and he keeps vacillating between the two.
Correct.